the end of Sussex, even the most optimist, don't believe Meghan can find another contract. Hello, and a very warm welcome back to LVT News YouTube channel. While the internet is filled with news that Meghan Markle is rebranding Harry's first gentleman as she's ramping up her political dreams to be president, and supposedly, she is incredibly close to unveiling her updated block, the TIG, which is going to be earning her somewhere around $200,000 per post, because allegedly, Meghan Markle is going to be crowned the new Queen of the Year. And so then, since Meghan Markle will not need Harry anymore, she can finally become independent from him and throw him away like a used clean. Anybody with a lick of common sense can clearly see all these things cannot be true all at once. Something has to go if the others have a chance at progressing, but what exactly is she going to refuse to earn the chance to get some free dresses? Oh, I don't think so. Is she going to cancel the much-hyped relaunch of the TIG? Well, that means that she would miss out on a lot of money for just a few minutes of work. I don't think she's going to choose that either. Is she going to give up her dreams of sitting in the White House? Probably not. Mountain climbers do have the Savage Mountain K2 as their ultimate goal. And Meghan Markle, as a social climber, has set the White House in her sights. It really is her dream. It's the only fitting accolade for somebody as far-sighted, as kind, as altruistic, clever, caring, and philanthropic as Meghan wants to believe she is. It's gonna be the final feather in her cap. And does she need Harry for any of this stuff? Well, according to her new PR agency, absolutely not charged with getting Meghan out of that great big hole. They have both been busy digging. It's Harry, instead of Meghan, who has been identified as a person with a spade, and they believe this in spite of the fact that the Spotify executive, Bill Simmons, referred to both of them as effing grifters. So what does this mean? Is it possible that we are seeing the end, the most amazing, most beautiful love story ever told? Could it possibly be true that our latter-day equivalent of Abelard and Heloise is going to be torn apart by the repetition of history and some very cruel circumstances? While there are so many similarities, Abelard, let's remember, wrote The History of My Calamities. That was the medieval precursor to Harry's tell-all book, Spare. And just like Harry, Abelard was also a committed feminist and a defender of women in their education. Now, he ended up getting castrated over his love affair. And that was echoed by Harry's metaphorical castration. And just like Halloween, Meghan was supposedly this fantastically intelligent, stupid, and eventually became his wife. By now, it's a very familiar story. But Harry is not quite the philosopher that Abelard was, and he also can't write any beautiful love letter. Neither of them can, actually. Both Harry and Meghan are trying to convince the world that their IQ scores are about 100 points higher than they really are. So we can no longer assume the salt and pepper are going to be passed together forever. How sad. So we'll make a Markle, who at this point is famous for holding on to Harry as tightly as she possibly can, finally be hanging him out to dry. It seems like only yesterday, Harry was talking about how in love with Meghan he really is. And Meghan was saying the same. So what is going? According to the reputational crisis expert Eric Schiffer, Meghan Markle is trying to distance herself from her past. And is that going to include distancing herself from Harry? Is that going to include breaking up with him, perhaps? Well, according to Eric, yes, it's no accident that she didn't go to the coronation. That she didn't show up in London alongside Prince Harry when he was in court recently. Meghan is wise to distance herself from her husband's toxic drama. This is a woman who constantly moves forward. I think Meghan is reading the tea leaves correctly and seeking to distance herself from the toxic emotional drama that Harry seems to be unable to put. If this is the strategy that Meghan has adopted, well, it's probably a pretty good one. People are so over Harry going after his family, and I don't think he's helping himself at all by blaming the press for everything that has gone wrong in his life and bringing up stories from about 25 years ago. What is he thinking? Meghan's probably just going to concentrate on the positive and all the things that made her so attractive to millennials and generations X and Z in the first place. Meghan's going to try to return to an image of a strong, successful, empowered woman. Somebody who built her own career. And she's probably going to pretend to focus on serious women's issues, but also on things that are fun and aspirational, like a tour fashion, according to this expert. Oh yeah. Who doesn't love an optimistic talking head? Goodness. Well, it appears that the reincarnation of Diana, this adoring wife, has channeled the essence of her late, soon-to-be ex-mother-in-law for the very last time. And it looks like Harry may have participated in his very last New York catastrophic car chase by paparazzi. So sad. Never again will the sound of a pizza delivery man riding a boat trigger an panic attack. And Meghan is now free to bathe in the sunshine. A perpetual press intrusion. And now she can blame one person for all her troubles. The man whom she claimed to love more than anything. It looks like WME is trying to airbrush out all the building blocks that make it used as a ladder that was provided to her by Harry, of course. But I see a big problem in these future plans. See, people in generations X and Z do not care about this gold-digging con artist who is actually so old. She believes that using men for status as a career move. Meghan Markle, you are done. She has weaseled her way to where she is now from an easily forgettable run-of-the-mills The List actress to, oh, my goodness, how did that happen to somebody like me? Bride of a British prince. Now, Harry was never the draw, but his platform certainly was. Meghan has used that platform to get where she is now. And she's almost ready to go at it alone. But still, she's going to hang on to that Duchess title because she doesn't want to be associated with the mediocrity of the. She and all her little minions have positioned themselves to move forward without Harry, and they're all just openly talking about the fact that Meghan is distancing herself from the situation that she and Harry created. And, of course, the situation is blown up in their faces. Well, that should give us a good idea about how Meghan wants to progress. She's found a near rung on that social ladder that she's so desperate to climb. And that rung looks a lot like Harry's head. The woman has no talent whatsoever. She's not very intelligent, and she can only move forward in the salt that she lives in by attaching herself to people who she thinks can improve her situation. It was so obvious that a woman who only became well known after was no international star. Come on. And what about those deals that they got? Well, that was all because of their connection to the royals. Goodness knows what Meghan thought she would get when she married Harry. But obviously, it wasn't a life in a cottage and a life of duty. Looking back, I really do believe the late Queen did it all on purpose. I mean, that decision certainly helped to shine a light on some important things. And what about their little plan to set up a new royal court in the US? Well, of course, their little plan backfired. Just look at what they did at the polo match, making wearing that stupid head in the red dress and Harry wanting the UK anthem played at a US veterans event. Pop stars at a COVID-19 fundraiser. My goodness. And then the podcast, and the book and the interviews in the South Park episode. And then to top it all off, the gold dress and the Hertz ad and the desperate New York catastrophic heart story. Harry, always looking miserable. And Meghan, always looking for the camera. Well, Harry, if you have not come to face reality yet, then when will you? I mean, the British know how all this works. Meghan is going to want money. And Harry, well, all that depends on if he's willing to really learn something, but definitely he can never be in the public eye again all the time. He's there, the show goes on and on. Please continue to discuss Meghan Markle with us below in the comments section.